Hey, Anna Taylor here from the Anna Taylor Radio Podcast Show. Want to know where you can find me? All over the place. Try Facebook and Instagram, Anna Taylor Radio. On TikTok, it's the @ Anna Taylor Radio Now. On X, formerly known as Twitter, it's the @ Anna T Radio. You can listen to this podcast at anchor.fm/Anna Taylor Radio Now, or just go to Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and just type in Anna Taylor Radio to find me. To watch this podcast, you can go to my YouTube channel, which is Anna Taylor Radio Channel. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or want to be a guest on my show, or just contact me, please email me at annataylorradio@gmail.com. If you would like to donate or gift this podcast show, you can gift it to Cash App, which is the $ in all lowercase, Anna Taylor Radio Now. And PayPal with the @ all lowercase, Anna Taylor Radio. I appreciate all your support and everyone who listens or watches this podcast show. Hey, welcome back. I'm Anna Taylor of the Anna Taylor Radio Podcast Show, talking about what most don't. If you've been following this series, this exclusive interactive podcast series, you're on episode 7, the 7 types of love. That's this episode here. So before we get into things, just to clean house, don't forget, please listen to my other episodes. That helps support this podcast. If you can't financially support this podcast, go listen to my episodes just to support and bump up the ratings and everything, please, if you don't mind. And again, the bit before this episode started, where to find me, please go follow and like those pages and things. It'll help me out. Another thing is to, after this episode is done, stay tuned for resources if you need them, or if you know somebody who needs them. And don't forget, grab your journals, grab a pen and paper. Those journals I told you about, I keep telling you about these journals, and a pen. That way you have your information all in one journal and you can come back to it, read it over again, because this stuff takes practice. This is life skills. This is life stuff, But and then last thing, this 30-day check-in. How are you doing with your self-love experiment? Is it starting to work? You still don't believe that you love yourself yet, or that you're worthy enough, or that you're deserving of love, or keep doing it. I encourage you, keep doing it. Whatever day you're on, just keep doing it every single day. Please just keep doing it. Okay. Now, let's get into this. All right. This episode is the 7 types of love. I know I did an episode on the 5 love languages. That's totally different. This is the 7 types of love. It's like categories of love, or kinds of love, however you want to put it. But I'm going to be reading off my tablet, off of a website I found that has good information as to explaining what the 7 types of love is, and the descriptions of each category of love. All right. And just FYI, I'm reading off the elizabethwriter.com website. However, the / whatever, I'm going to put the link in the description. So wherever you're watching this from or listening to from, look in the description, and you'll find the website there if you'd like to go reference that. Okay. So the 7 types of love and pretty much what they mean. So the 7 types of love basically was a concept that was brought up or invented or came up by the Greeks. Okay. Basically, Greeks were noting many intricacies and nuances of love, and they decided that love could be broken down into 7 specific types. Now, let's go to the 7 different types. Here we go. All right, the first type is called Eros, E-R-O-S, Eros. Eros is romantic, passionate love of the body. I'm just going to read down the website. Eros is passion, lust, sexual attraction, and everything we think of when we think of the TV version of love. Unsurprisingly, this type of love was named after the Greek god of love and fertility. The ancient Greeks, to the ancient Greeks, this physical, desirous love was quite dangerous. As you can probably imagine, the human impulse to procreate is powerful, and eros is a sort of love that is easy to lose control of. Because eros is solely a physical love, it isn't necessarily something that you want to build a relationship upon, on its own, that is. Eros is intense and sexual, and you guessed it, fleeting. A relationship built on eros should also rely on other forms of love to create a firm foundation. More on that later. So basically, saying this is that fiery, passionate, basically, I'm going to say it, I cuss on my podcast all the time. It's a butt buddy, one night stand, or you just met someone and it's just fiery and passionate, right? If your relationship is based solely on that, it's not going to last. Okay. But if you want it to last, like this says, you're going to have to, put the other forms of the types of love in with it and incorporate that. Nonetheless, eros still represents the love for sexual intimacy and romance. In this modern world, it illustrates our physical attraction to one another, and it is embodied by the passionate romantic love that's gushed over in all our favorite books and movies. So it's basically not the ideal love, and it's not realistic, really. Number 2, the second type of love, is philia, 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 affectionate, friendly love. Okay, philia is a friendly love, those soul-to-soul bonds per se. It encompasses the love shared between friends and intimate family members, and is characterized by loyalty and trust. Philia is the encouraging, kind, affectionate, and everything that makes up a true friendship. It is entirely platonic, yet both meaningful and sweet. Essentially, you can think of philia as the type of love where you simply want the best for another person. Because philia is a kind of equal love shared between people who value one another, the ancient Greeks thought it was even more precious than eros. Just as I said that a romantic relationship cannot be sustained on eros alone, a romantic relationship where philia is born out of eros is built to last. Plato is a philosopher, believed that this was the best kind of friendship. The third type of love is storge, S-T-O-R-G-E, storge, unconditional and familial love, unconditional love, or family love. Storge refers to the unconditional love that parents have for their children. It is a protective kinship-based love that embodies approval, sacrifice, and acceptance. Storge looks a lot like philia, though it is more one-sided. Think of it as the love of a mother for her child, regardless of whether the child reciprocates her emotion. Same thing with fathers. Basically, it is a strong bond and fondness that is built out of the familiarity and need. Another way of looking at storge is in the love you have for your sister, even if she constantly stole your favorite clothes growing up or is a little too eager to hand off her toddlers to you on a date night. All right, the fourth kind of type of love is agape. Agape is selfless, universal love, and it's also considered unconditional. Agape is a one-of-a-kind love. It is an empathetic, selfless love for others that includes a love for God, nature, strangers, and the less fortunate. It doesn't depend on familiarity, as storge does, but instead agape has links to altruism, which is understood as an unselfish, genuine concern for the welfare of others. A lot of people consider agape to be a kind of spiritual love, and it's expressed through meditation, nature, intuition, spirituality. Even Christians believe this is the love Jesus had for all of mankind. It is sacrificial and quite radical, honestly, as the Greeks believed that very few people were able to experience it long term. Not only is agape associated with boosted mental and physical health, but some say it leaves a euphoric feeling, somewhat of a helper's high. All right, the next type of love, number 5, is ludus, Ludus, a ludus, playful, flirtatious love. Ludus is easy breezy love, playful, flirtatious, non-committal. Ludus is having a crush on someone and then acting on it. It is the infatuated phase that occurs in the early stages of romance. If you've been in love before, then you know what I'm talking about. When I think of ludus, I think of a fling. No strings attached sort of conquest. It is the oh so stereotypical butterflies in your stomach. Ludus is all about having fun. So think of whatever that means for you: flirting, dancing, teasing, seducing, all that jazz. This type of love results in relationships that are definitely on the casual side, though that doesn't matter. Excuse me, back up. I can't read. Though that doesn't mean they won't last. As long as both parties have the same mindset, ludus relationships can thrive for years, resulting in a lightweight, undemanding, and beautifully uncomplicated sort of love. The next one is number 6 type of love is pragma, 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 committed, long-lasting love. In the simplest of terms, it is the love that looks long-term. Pragma is a love that is seen in many long-term marriages and relationships. It is built on commitment, endurance, companionship, and sharing similar hopes for the future, which includes things like building a family and putting down roots. A lot of people, married folks especially, will understand pragma as making it work. This type of love is an accepting, everlasting love that matures as a couple spends year after year together. When I think of pragma, I think of the older married couple who have been together since they were teenagers. Oh, yeah, I love those couples. Even after 50 years of marriage, they still hold hands and see the person they fell in love with. Oh, so sweet. I mean, seriously, who doesn't want that someday? I know I do. I want it. Pragma is beautiful as it represents the constant nurturing that goes into a long-term relationship. It is patient, sacrificial, mature, and in all honesty, quite rare, and therefore so special. All right, we're on the last one, number 7 type of love is philatia. I hope I said it right. Philatia, Philautia, philatia, which is self-love. Remember episode number 1, self-love. Of all the different kinds of love, this one is often the most challenging for people. However, it is perhaps foundational to the other types of love. Philatia is self-love, which the ancient Greeks saw as a healthy, necessary love of oneself that made it possible to give and receive love from other people. Haven't we all heard something or other about not being able to pour from an empty cup? I've heard that before. Healthy demonstrations of philatia go hand in hand with self-worth, confidence, and the boost of self-esteem that is necessary for a sense of one's purpose. Keeping in turn with the Greeks, we cannot give what we don't have. How are we to love others if we don't first love ourselves? Philatia, therefore, is something like self-compassion. Much like we show affection and love to other people, it is important to show that same affection to ourselves. However, of course, there is a flip side. Philatia can become unhealthy if we are not careful. That's where it becomes grandiose, like narcissistic, where you put yourself on a pedestal, think you're better than everybody else when you're not. Yeah. While this is not what the Greeks intended, too much self-love breeds self-obsession and self-superiority. When it becomes unhealthy, philatia can morph into narcissistic behaviors, like I just mentioned, arrogance, and selfish tendencies. It's important to balance the love of self with the love of others. So that is a rundown of the 7 types of love and the descriptions. So basically, with the 7 types of love, these categories, okay, what you can do is, if you're in a relationship, or once you get into a relationship or meet new people or other relationships, like, family relationships, whatever, it doesn't even have to be romantic. Okay. It's going to be friendships, whatever, family, you take these categories of love and you kind of compare them to what relationships you have. Okay. And you can, kind of check off, well, this pretty much coincides with this relationship. So this relationship is this kind of type of love. This relationship is this type of love. So, and then let's say for romantic partners, you're going to meet someone new, then, you can kind of assess the situation as to this is this type of love. And then you can even kind of maybe foresee how the relationship is going to turn out. Is it going to grow into something worthwhile, or is it going to fall down in a million pieces and destroy itself and be a waste of time, effort, whatever else, or even you can, be hurt or traumatized or victim, become a victim of abuse or toxicity, whatever. So again, a rundown: the 7 different types of love: eros, philia, storge, agape, ludus, pragma, and philatia. Okay. And again, just to reference the website, which was elizabethwriter.com, and the whole website will be down in the description if you would like to go check that out. So that concludes segment 1 of this episode of the 7 types of love, episode 7 of the Love Project series. Stay tuned, you guys, for the work. Stay tuned for the learning experience and the exercise in segment 2. 1. Okay, guys. Now that you learned what the 7 different types of, or the 7 types of love is, different types of love, which I'm going to recap really quick: eros, philia, storge, agape, ludus, pragma, and philatia. Now we're going to get into your learning experience and exercise. Okay. For your learning experience for this episode, all right. And this is for whether you're single or whether you're in a relationship. If you're doing this with your partner, doesn't matter. All right. Pick one of I have a brain. I'm so sorry. Pick one of the 7 types of love that you now are aware you have with someone or someone's people. Okay. So think of a relationship you have, whether romantic, whether you're single, but you're into somebody, or you just started dating, or maybe you're in a long-term relationship and not married, or maybe you're single and, or have a relationship with your cousin, or have a best friend, a bestie, or you have children. Pick a relationship, any relationship, okay, that you are now aware, now that you know what the 7 different types of love is, and then the categories of what they're about. Pick a relationship and think of a type of love and compare that type of love to a relationship that you have. Okay. Then I want you to write what you appreciate, like, or love, or your favorite aspect or element of that relationship. What do you love about it? What's your favorite aspects of it? What is it that makes it that special bond, that what do you love about this relationship? Okay. And then I want you to write 2 ways or 2 things that could be done to better or grow this relationship. Okay. Now, some of these relationships, even though, like, you might love them, they may not love you. Some of it's one-sided, but, or it might be a, kind of toxic relationship and you love them, unconditionally, or love them, whatever, but it may be a toxic relationship. Whether there's anything wrong in the relationship or not, okay, because things can always get better, right? Even if they're at its best. But write down at least 2 ways or 2 things that could be done to better and grow this relationship. What can you do to make this relationship better? So write those 2 things down. Write down what relationship you have and which type of love that goes with, and then write down 2 ways or 2 things that can be done to better your relationship. So that's your learning experience. Now let's get into the exercise. This one's a little tough. It's challenging, but hey, it's okay. That's why it's an exercise. You got to put in the work with this. I want you to make a friend or reconnect with someone or spend time with someone that you may know or not know. Whether you can host a game night, you can throw a party or go to a party, you can go out for drinks or dinner, you can go bowl, do a paint night, go to a wine tasting, anything that's fun, something, or just have a conversation. But I want you to make a new friend. Go out and make a new friend. Okay. If you're a recluse like me and you isolate sometimes like me or have agoraphobia like me, this is very challenging to do if you have that, but do it. Okay. Well, where do I make a friend at? You can either go to a bar. If you don't drink, then go to church. If you're not faithful, go to a function, something fun, go to a concert or, volunteer somewhere. There's always going to be people around. So just kind of start a conversation, make a new friend, make a connection. If there's somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while, then reconnect with them. Even if you haven't spoken to them in 5 or 10 or 100 years, message them, call them. They'll be like, what the hell are they doing calling me? Like, it's been like 10 freaking years. Straight up. Hey, I'm just trying to reconnect with you. And I really would like to start building our bond or relationship back if you're open to that. If they're not, hey, you've done your exercise. We'll count that as you putting in the work, okay? Because if they don't want to comply, then whatever, that's their problem. But reconnect with somebody, even. Or spend time with someone that you may or may not know. So if you already have a bond or connection or friendship or love or whatever, it could be your romantic partner. Go see a movie, go on a date, spend some quality time together, go out to dinner or for drinks or for a walk. And you could do all this stuff with other people. Call a friend up, do this with a friend, do it with a family member, do it with your kid, anybody, okay? That's your exercise. So basically to make a friend or reconnect with somebody and spend time with somebody, whether you know them or not. All right. And I give you some examples of things you could do. You could do anything really. So basically that's your learning experience and that's your exercise. And that concludes segment 2, the second part of this episode 7 Types of Love of the Love Project series. Wasn't that easy? Actually, sometimes it's not easy. It's a challenge, but that's okay. We're putting in the work here. And I believe in you. I love you. I think you're worthy. You can do this. Okay. This is going to better your life. I promise you. And it's free. I'm not even charging nobody, but I do, ask for financial blessings or financial support for this podcast. But you've already heard that little bit beginning before the episode. So that's up to you, how to do it. But anyway, the point is this is free. And I'm just doing this just to help people because I have a heart and that's my calling. I've been working with youth, even adults, my entire life. I've been working with youth and adults literally since I was like a kid. Okay. My first time, actually, I'm not religious now, but when I used to be a youth pastor. I was a youth pastor by the age of 12. Okay. It's pretty young. That's a pretty high leadership role in a faith institution. So, just to be a kid preaching to a congregation and teaching and being a teacher and I was a Sunday school teacher, all that. So I've been doing this a long, long time. And I'm doing this out of the goodness of my heart just because I want to help people. I want to help you out, So, I hope that everyone is doing okay. And I hope that you are following along with this. Don't give up on me. Don't give up on this episode. Don't give up on this project, this love project or series. Don't give up on yourself. Okay. I hope everyone stays safe. See you in the next episode 8. All right. I'm Anna Taylor, Anna Taylor Radio, talking about what most don't. Be safe out there. Stay tuned for the resources. Hey, it's Anna here from the Anna Taylor Radio podcast show. If you or someone you know who is in a crisis or suffering in some way, who needs help or is in a bad situation, here is a list of resources to help them along the way so that they can get the help they need. Grab a pen and paper. This is very important.
For the suicide hotline, you can call or text 988. For self-harm, 1-800-366-8288. For abortion, 1-866-439-4253. For adoption, 1-800-367-2367. For eating disorders, 1-800-931-2237. For bullying, 1-800-420-1479. For LGBTQ plus, 1-866-488-7386. For sexual assault, 1-800-656-4673. For domestic violence, 1-800-799-7233. For pregnancy and infant and child loss, 1-800-944-4773. For grief, 1-800-445-4808. And for mental health, 1-800-950-6264. And if you're in a crisis or an emergency situation, I highly recommend that you call 911. Be safe.